always exposing human rights violations. So, and also he has 20 years experience as a herbalist. So he's going to talk us how we can also, in a natural way, really take care of our bodies that affects mentally too, so we don't really have to go to the other route. So please welcome Tyra Jackson to this podium.
Thank you. Of course, we can Google human trafficking and such and see all the statistics out there, which are considered low numbers compared to the reality of what's happening in our society today. A lot of folks don't know, within the United States alone, majority of our human trafficking are sex trafficking, which is the highest of all the trafficking here in the U.S., by like 67% compared to the other ones. Majority of those people are American citizens. They're not foreigners being smuggled in and such. They're American citizens. Everyday people that's around us getting snatched up. And who are those people? Well, majority of them comes from foster care systems, runaways, hanging out at the beach, airport, you name it. The sex trafficking alone is, I guess you can kind of say, is like the airport hub. You know, Atlanta, Miami, central hubs for the trafficking and such. Miami alone, well, in the state of Florida is #3 state in the U.S. with sex trafficking. California #1, and I believe Texas #2. Atlanta is #1 city for sex trafficking. Miami is #2 for sex trafficking.
Wow.
Now, on the human trafficking alone, we have multiple categories. We got labor, personal trafficking, and those deals. All the human trafficking in a summary is forced labor. You're forced into giving your body for a certain type of task, whether it be sex, or service in a salon shop, service in somebody's ranch, working somebody's yard and such. But it's a forced labor, and it's pushed by coercing somebody, putting somebody in a fearful position, threatening their family, threatening to deport them, threatening to whatever. But it's a fear factor played upon the hearts of the people to do a labor that they didn't volunteer to do. And sex trafficking is one of the #1 tools used here in the U.S. today and around the world. It's funny, being that it's one of the largest elephants in the world, in the room, along with slavery today, it doesn't get that much attention as it needs to be, Why, you may ask? Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of high officials involved. There's money involved. There's a big money-making market. So, as much effort we can put into trying to stop it, there's always somebody along the different levels of the industries and government that somewhat throws in monkey wrench. But that shouldn't stop us from trying. The more we become public about it, the more we make people aware of the different strategies that is played to capture somebody into that type of organization, the more everybody will be alert and they will have a voice against it. Shucks, it's so much on the subject matter just in sex trafficking. But we have kids today in school who's selling their bodies. The parent may drop them off at school in the morning, and between classes, they go out and get work by their pimp. And come back to school before the end of the day, and now they're back home with their family. But during the middle of the school day, here in Miami, it's one of the standard practice everywhere. Wow. One of the standard practice everywhere. So either they're working during the middle of the week in school, or during the weekend.
Could you talk a little bit about the recruiters? Because I think that's a big part of how we get these kids to do it.
Recruiters is, they're very keen in identifying people who makes perfect candidates for sex trafficking. And it's something that we have to educate our kids on, how to be aware of those type of predators. And we have to become, as adults, have to become aware of those predators. They recruit our kids through social media, whether it be Facebook, or any other search site, Craigslist, looking for work, so to say. And they'll paint a pretty picture that doesn't say, I'm gonna traffic you in sex. No, I'm gonna give you this job to do A, B, C, and D. One of the latest scams going on now is through the churches, unfortunately. Wow. Some of the churches, where you may have a pretty girl with a Bible in her hand, and she's trying to invite you to her Bible study, not knowing it's just a setup to get you into sex trafficking.
Wow.
So the scams, the schemes is all over the place. No place is safe any longer. So you need to be very mindful of what your kids are involved in, who they're hanging out with, be knowledgeable of what they're surfing on the internet, through their phone, etc., etc.
Was the back page also?
Yes, Backpage. There's quite a few internet sites out there that have recruiting methods of drawing kids in. Because there are kids looking for work, looking for other means of making income, or they're trying to become part of some kind of social status. They may not feel good about themselves. So predators are keen in on identifying people who are depressed, identifying runaways, and that's why the airport, the beach is one of the 2 biggest hot spots to pick up new victims.
Airport?
Airports, beaches, some of the 2 of the most prominent places to pick up new victims. Something I just learned recently was the prison system. A lady goes into the prison system or the jail system, held there for a little while. Of course, no money, right? And you want to buy extra things that may be there within the prison system, buy from the store and such. So a pimp will look them up on the internet, because anybody in the prison, you can look them up and see what their status is, or what they're being charged for, and things of that nature. So those pimps write the ladies, become friends with them, because everybody, we're social creatures, so everybody want to feel special, want to belong and such. So they play on their emotions, send them money,
Wow.
constantly sending them money, making sure they can able to get certain things they want out of commissary and such. And from about the time they get out, once they get out, who they gonna run to? They're gonna run to that pimp who did not call himself a pimp, but he eventually becomes their pimp. And just not too long ago, they had one guy had over 25 women he hosted through his home, and he recruited them all out of the prison system.
Wow.
And so the recruitment status of these predators is profound. And in order for us to stop, we got to learn how they operate, how they move about. And again, they look at your child and see what kind of attire they wear, see what kind of background they come from, what they're looking for, and what they don't have, and make adjustments from there to see if they can meet those gaps. Kid feel unloved at home, they can make sure they love on that kid. And so now in the school system, they use a young girl to recruit another young girl. You don't have a cell phone? I can get you a cell phone. You like this type of attire? I can get you this type of clothing. Everything is played on the emotions. And once they grab your emotions, they can do with it what they want to. And the reason why it's hard to escape out of that arena is because the threats that goes down against the kids. I know where your mom and daddy live at. If you say anything to the cops, I'm going to kill them.
Oh, wow.
So all kinds of threats. As we was talking about earlier, we were talking about shock therapy. That's another thing pushed on, used on some of the kids. Shock them, dumb them down. Shock them, they dumb down. Memory losses. Only have short-term memory and not long-term memory due to the shocking of the body and the fear that comes along with it. Or else, here's one of your parents, or I brought in a group of girls, y'all all friends, it might be your sister, I was able to bring into this a trade. I shock her to put fear into your heart so that you don't want to run away from it. And sad to say, a lot of these kids are right under your nose and you don't even know it. They're in your hair salon shops, they're maybe working your yards, working a ranch, whatever facility, they may be doing maid services. And one thing you may notice, they are very short with their conversation. They stick to their work, they work through lunch, do what they need to do, and disappear. And don't get paid for it. I mean, barely have enough to make a living.
Wow.
Sure.
How would you handle if you found somebody like that, like this young girl, she's been forced to do that, and she's been threatened if she says anything? How would you handle that?
It really takes some good training in the area of human trafficking, sex trafficking, to identify and how to assist them to get out of it. Because one, they got to agree with what you were thinking they were going through. You have a few that say, hey, this is not my boyfriend, this is not my father, etc., etc. you have to, you have to try to sneak and get as much information you can, carry it over to authorities, and let them begin the investigation. But to run in there and just grab them and run out, it's not that easy, because a person who's bound to abuse for so many years, they don't have trust toward anybody, for one. Two, they in fear of their life or their family's life. So it's a process even to bring, once you get them out of it, it's still a process to bring them back to a level of normalcy, because a lot of mental abuse takes place. Then on top of that, a lot of the pimps keep the girls on drugs as well. There's different categories of pimps. You got the gorilla pimp who will beat you down, slap you around, and things of that nature, and you step out of line. And then you have the other pimp who's the drug pimp, who just keep you drugged and keep you addicted, and therefore you continue to service him and such. So, depending upon the type of pimp they're under, their mental state is either high or low. And again, drugs, shock, electric shock, threats of the family, and then the negative view that we may give to those person who may be working the streets unwittingly. Now there's prostitutes out there who does the work all of their own. That's not forced labor. Sex trafficking is forced labor, doing something against your will.
Also, there are the kids that are being sold their bodies, but they're against their will.
Right. Anything against your will is considered force. And that's considered illegal. That's against human rights.
That's a form of slavery.
Yeah, it's a slave. It's slave. You're doing this in labor because you have no choice because of the threat that's against you, or your family may not be fed. So, forced labor. Trying to think. So, it's important to check out what your kids are doing on Facebook, on social media. Who they're talking to in the video games. You know, we have the headset now, you playing the PS4 on the station, and you communicate with some person on the end. Not too long ago here in Miami, there was about 6 people who was grabbing kids through the computer games.
Wow.
Build up a nice conversation with them playing video games, and next thing you know, the kids gullible enough to meet them elsewhere and such. So these are the kind of stuff you got to be on top of. From like a Facebook standpoint, don't post everything that you're doing every minute on social media. Because somebody who's a predator watching, they begin to get an idea of how you move throughout your week. You like going to the park every Saturday to run, and your kids not there, but you're there every Saturday running. You tend to go to work between 8 to 5, then you go here with the boys and stuff. So somebody watching your Facebook transactions and such, and building up a pattern on it. So then from there they know when to attack, when to come in and snatch up your kids and such, where to meet your kid at the store, offer them something that, you know, that appeals to them.
That's good.
When you're working with the military and everything, we have sting operations every month. You just don't hear it on you just don't hear it on the mainstream media. And that's for political reasons. At the end of the day, a lot of stuff is politics. Every president, from this president on back, all had the same conversation that came to the borders, the walls. But whether Republican or Democrats, you know, we don't have a wall up because that can slow down traffic. So no, we don't want a wall up that undermine the business of traffic. Or slow down the business of trafficking.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
Well, you know, here current President Trump talking about putting up a wall to hold back all the illegal trafficking coming across the border. And as I say, if you put all the presidents in the State of the Union side by side and listen to their speech when they talk about the wall, all of them talk about the seriousness of having a wall, dire need of having a wall. But because we do so much politics on everything around here, we miss the big picture. I'm not saying the wall stop to traffic, but it will slow down the traffic. It's just like you closing all your windows and doors. So more windows and doors you have open, easier for somebody to break in.
And since you work in that area, so the most trafficking also comes from immigrants, or it's just...
No, the majority of sex trafficking in the U.S. is American citizens.
Oh, wow.
American citizens.
Tyrone, who's the major watchdog for this trafficking? Is it Homeland Security? Because I heard it was Homeland Security, FBI. I mean, there's all those.
It's multiple agents hand in
I don't
hand.
feel like there's one, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't know enough about it, but I don't feel like like there's like a set standard of this is how we deal with the issue on a.
You can visit any of those sites, ICE being the major one, Homeland Security being the major one that deals with that works in that region, but all of them work together, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, organization I work with, Southcom here. We do sting operations here and Latin American countries, and the numbers is astounding how many perpetrators that we arrest and how many kids we rescue. And the methods of how they transport the kids, some through orphanages, some through churches. They use whatever title necessary to appeal to the masses to get away with it. Here in the U.S., we've had over several months pastors arrested for sex trafficking. Pastors of churches, whether it be Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, whatever, across the board. We catching pastors of large congregations and small congregations engaged into this type of thing.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying, be mindful of the people you're dealing with, who your kids are hanging out with and such, because there's always somebody out here trying to recruit your kids.
Is any statistics like to where the majority?
The hot spots on the map of the U.S., California, Texas, Florida, Atlanta, but we just had some major things to places like up in Missouri and Nebraska. I mean, people get snatched at Walmart. Oh, this is why I made this Sharon. How to stop making yourself a victim or a soft target? Doesn't put it that way, soft target. I say this to every woman and every child. Learn self-defense. Learning self-defense, it teaches you how to be watchful. Not fearful, but watchful. That's the beauty of self-defense. Learn tactics how to get away from somebody who's trying to handle you inappropriately. Ladies, we had a woman here a couple months ago. She got kidnapped, raped at a gas station. And it was at nighttime. Now, as I tell every woman, don't be pumping gas at nighttime. Don't ever let your gas tank give you a little half a tank. Always pump your gas broad daylight where there's a lot of traffic. A lot, I just go pull up into a grocery store parking lot and just watch women coming out of the store. And a lot of them walking, looking down their cell phone. They walking toward their car, or their hands are in the pocketbook. They're not paying attention. They're not looking around their surroundings. A couple months ago, we had a couple ladies get snatched up at Walmart, at a deli, because they're not paying attention. You come out of the grocery store, you scan your environment. If there's an unmarked vehicle, truck, hiding your vehicle, you either get somebody to assist you to your car, or you wait till that unmarked vehicle leaves, so you can see a perfect view of your car. You want to go even an extra step, park your car in backwards. So if you get out of your car, as soon as you get in the car, you're straight up, you're going straight forward. There's a lot of self-defense facilities around here, Gracie, kickboxing, Groupon's offering a lot of these type of services to teach you self-defense. And it's not you there wrestling with a person and trying to attack a person and making a long thing, but it basically hitting that person and escaping. In a nutshell, hitting key points and escaping to get help. Carry your keys. You come out the store, you have the keys in between your fingers like this here. Because you never know when somebody's going to approach you. But you're already ready to defend yourself. This is what self-defense teaches you. It don't teach you fear, it teaches you awareness. And a predator knows who are soft targets and who are not. There's a different way you walk and talk when you're a person who knows martial arts, who knows self-defense. You hold your ears different. And so a predator recognizes it too. Somebody who's gullible, easy, passive, if you will, versus somebody who's alert and ready. Again, like I said, you can Google and get all statistics that exist out there of what's going on with the sex trafficking, and we just have to put more pressure on the politicians to make it more of an issue, the subject matter, because it's getting worse and worse and worse. Slavery market and the human trafficking market is just expounding more and more. Yeah, kids who come out of abusive relationships or abusive homes, soft targets. Runaways, soft targets. As foster care system, I think make about 75 to 85% of kids trafficked through the foster care system.
Every single group home.
Yeah, group home. Yeah, you have people facilitating over some of these homes that are actually the recruiters,
Wow.
using one girl to recruit other girls. Yes.
I had a girl, just real quick, she was a friend of one of my guardian ad litem kids in foster care in a group home, and her friend was sitting and we were talking one day and she told me she was taught to be a recruiter when she was 5 years old down here in Miami.
Wow.
She was recruiting girls at 5 years old.
What?
And she'd get money for every girl she brought in.
5 years old?
At 5 years old.
Oh yeah, and the average girls who are trafficked, and I know I keep on saying girls, but boys are included as well. Young boys are included as well. When I was in the Navy, I went overseas to China, Hong Kong, China. I probably wasn't a good block and a half away from the Navy yard, the shipping dock. Guys approached me trying to sell me young girls. And he said, "Oh, you don't like girls? We got young boys for you." It's big business everywhere. It hurt me to my heart to see that type of thing going on, and to sit with some of the, you go into the grocery stores or you go to a mall, girls there trying to get your business as a junk. And when you talk to them, you kind of find out, well, I'm here trying to pay for the rest of my family to come over, but I got to do this in order to get the rest of my family over.
So I wanted to say back to the foster care, we sitting here are all promoting human trafficking as we speak. Every time we hear the radio, hear a news channel who says foster a kid today because children are abused and neglected, we are signing off saying that it's okay to continue to take children and put them in the foster care system and potentially have them trafficked. Now, I liked what you said earlier, there's different levels of being trafficked. Children are being trafficked just in the sense that they take them from their families and they put them in the system because there is money that the federal government gives to keep these children away from their parents. So essentially they become prisoners, and then once they get them there, they tell the children, oh, you'll get to go home if you just tell us what mommy and daddy do, and blah, blah. So they build a case against the parents using the children, because the children are mind manipulated, they're coerced and manipulated. So that, of course, these parents were arguing, maybe they couldn't afford food that week. There's things that happen in life, but because the system has designed it, 86% up to 92% are unfounded removals. In Broward County alone, last year, there was almost 6,000 removals. So you got to look at the percentage. Even if you say half of those, 3,000 kids were taken away from their parents and their families and could have been provided a service, which would have cost less dollars for the government, but it didn't get the caseworker and the judge and the lawyers paid as much because they dragged these cases out 12 months to a year to years. So by severing those ties, then they sell your child to a foster home. And I'm not saying that, because I've seen both sides. Great foster families earnestly trying to help children out here that are just trying to do a great job. And I've seen the other side where foster people have 5 and 6 kids they've adopted, and they're, beating the kids and doing things like that. But because they keep everything, they know the system and they keep it all under wraps, that they keep selling the children in here because the system makes money. So trafficking goes, like you said, very, very deep. And we talk about all the illegal things that are happening to kids, but that's the legal system using children and as pawns. And the parents become enslaved. We become enslaved trying to get our kids back. And the reason I can speak on this lengthily, and I won't take up any more time, is I've actually been a person who has fought the system, who tried to sell my children, and I got loud, and I got a lot of people to get loud with me to say, Mom didn't do anything, this was the system's concoction here, and you literally tried to sell this lady's children. So to the point I've been to DC, and this is happening again, like you say, tremendously, because everybody gets in their car right now, go listen to the radio, please foster a child today, because they are. So we're trying to change that language too, that the system needs to change just the language that we promote,
Right.
the things out there. So
Overall,
sorry to take up your time.
No, that's
Another
perfect.
passionate place
Oh,
that I'm at.
Believe it or not, they're all linked together.
They're all linked
At the end
together.
of the day, we're under an exploited system. There are those who have found how to exploit the system. The system has a lot of gaps that need to be filled, and the only way those gaps are going to get filled is more of us being informed. As I said, as I wrote on one of my social media, I said, passive understanding easily make you a victim in this category. Passive understanding. So we got to educate the people. We got to talk about it. Ask people questions and see what their thought process is on it. Because a lot of folks thinking it's just happening over there and not here. And if you know your neighbor's trouble, they might know yours as well when that time comes. I can go on and on different areas of human trafficking, but at the end of the day, it's against the people's will. It's not something they want to do, not something they want to be a part of, but they coerce into it one way or another. And we just don't communicate enough as a whole. We don't ask enough questions. People emotions, people feelings are a very important thing, and the area I mean to touch on in regards to the shock therapy and such is and also the mental challenges that people have in that category is one. A lot of folks are drugged in that arena, and that drugs deplete key nutrients from your body. If you delete one primary nutrient like vitamin D or vitamin A from your body, you can create 15 different side effects.
Wow.
You create 15 different diseases or discomforts in a person's body. So a lot of these psychiatric drugs that people are taking are regular over-the-counter medication. They are taken away from your livelihood, your longevity, your quality of life and such. As Corinne said, I'm a herbalist, I'm a gardener. I train the people how to use natural things to take care of physical problems and mental problems. I grow superfoods, like purslane, moringa, different things that have iron, copper, vitamin A, B, C, and D. Very easy to grow, very easy to attain and such, and you'll get major and better benefits that route than just taking some synthetic drug over the counter. That's not a one-stop shop for everybody. And so a lot of our mental challenges that we see in our society today, the majority of it contribute to nutritional deficiency. Nutritional deficiency. So in essence, we kind of putting our car's supposed to take unleaded gasoline, but we're putting sugar into the tank instead.
Right.
And expecting the positive results, and that's not the case. The car slow down, the car eventually break on us. And so we need to look at this whole mental cycle from a more of a holistic approach instead of willy-nilly methods that people making money off of.
That's right.
Our sickness is big money.
That's right.
So-
You become a client for life.
Yeah, client for life.
Yeah.
So if there are any other questions, I hope I covered enough for you guys. If you have any other questions, be glad to ask me. I'll do it. But I am on social media. Tyrone A. Jackson on Facebook page, and From My Garden is another one where my slogan says that you have free healthcare in your backyard. And so I'm trying to train people how to grow the herbs, the veggies, and the fruits in many different formats. So you don't have to be a green thumb. You just have to have a willing heart. And when you get into it, you're going to find out how fascinating the plants are related to your body, how well they function together and such. But there you go, my Instagram page, 2100.
Great. Thank you.